Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is yours truly, Jasmine D Milhouse. I am live here in the SheEO district. Thank you all so much for tuning in with us on tonight. This is Wealth Week, and I am here with another banging, amazing interview. You can see the name on the screen. I'm going to be talking to Miss Christina Fernandez, and I am excited to do this interview on tonight. I am so super excited as you're tuning in with us here in the SheEO district. Share this on your page, share this on your groups. Tag someone here in the comments. Let them know that we are live. Let them know that we have another amazing interview that's about to get started. Again, we're in Wealth Week. And of course, you know, it is yours truly, Jasmine D Milhouse. I am a senior leader here in the SheEO district, and I am also the director of the SheEO Marketplace. And I love, love, love doing these interviews here. So can you hear me? You can't hear me at all? Can you hear me? If you all can hear me,
No.
please. I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
I can't hear nothing.
You can't hear anything?
I'm going to try logging out.
Okay, log out and then come back.
Yeah.
All right. So while we're waiting on Miss Christina to come back, I'm gonna slide over here so my face doesn't get cut off. While we're waiting on Miss Christina to come back in, thank you all so much for tuning in with us here in the SheEO district. Make sure you tag someone in the comments to let them know that we're live. Make sure you share this on your page, share this on your group if you have the ability to share. Uh, Again, I am Jasmine D Milhouse. I am a senior leader here in the SheEO district, and we are talking about Wealth Week. And you see tonight's topic, we are talking about creating generational wealth through real estate. So as you're tuning in, make sure you have your pens, make sure you have your paper, your eyeliner, your crayon, whatever you need to write with, and a piece of paper to write it down on, because Miss Christina is going to be sharing some wealthy information in about real estate and how you can create generational wealth. That means you're going to be passing it down generation after generation after generation. So make sure you tune in here with us tonight as we get into this interview, as we get started here on tonight with this amazing information. In my for me, this topic is good because we as women, you know, we are always the nurturers of our family. We're always the caretakers of our family. And what we need to do, we need to make sure that we have multiple streams of income for our family. You know, the ability to make sure that we can take care of our family and pass the generational wealth down through our family, and be able to make sure our children are sustained, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren, and make sure we are leaving our marks on this earth. Make sure that we are known, make sure our stories are being told, make sure that we have a family that knows what we stand for, what we stand on, and the ability to get what is rightfully ours when we put in the work. So of course, again, you see the tonight's topic, creating generational wealth. And before I introduce you to this beautiful queen that is sitting on the other side of me right here, Mrs. Christina Fernandez, I am going to read you a little bit about her bio. Miss Christina Fernandez, she is representing Georgia homeowners and future homeowners. Christina is committed to listening to her clients' needs and utilizing her keen negotiating skills to ensure a successful transaction. Christina understands the numerous intangible benefits of life in Georgia. With its unmatched weather, I can agree, is unmatched because it can be 90 degrees in December here in Georgia. Okay, I just want to put that out there. But the culture and the diversity. Her goals are to do right by her clients and customers in every way, from listening to their needs to going above and beyond and helping them achieve their goals. In the past years, Christina has become highly regarded by her clients and her professionals in her field. As a current Georgia resident, she is a well connected and actively involved in her community. Her contacts and residency leverage the enthusiasm and expertise, enhancing client dedication. Most important to her are honor, integrity, and relationships that are built on trust. That is a strong word, trust. Christina showcases homes on her website and utilizing a team of professional service providers to assist with all clients' buying and selling needs, including stagers, painters, designers, handymen, and inspectors. She is very communicative, thorough, and detail oriented, and she'll be alongside you every step of the way. So if you didn't hear that and you didn't hear commitment in anything that I said, then I don't know if you were listening to the same bio. So without further ado, I would like to introduce everyone to Miss Christina Fernandez. How are you doing tonight, Queen?
Hello. I am doing mighty fine. And how about yourself?
Come on, mighty fine. I'm doing mighty fine as well. I'm gonna use that. That's gonna be the word for the night is mighty fine.
Mighty fine.
Mighty fine. That is good. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome here to the SheEO District Wealth Week. And thank you so much for being our special guest tonight. Tonight we're going to be diving into creating generational wealth through real estate. But before I get into that, I want to ask you, who is Christina Fernandez? Outside of real estate, who are you?
Well, first off, I'm a mom and a wife. That is my foundation. At the end of the day, that's where I stand. But I'm just really grounded all the way around. I love to laugh. I love it. I think that is, healing, in any process, and it helps you enjoy life more. So, that's just a little bit about me.
Okay. So tell us about your journey in getting into real estate. What got you to that point to make you want to become a real estate agent?
Well, honestly, it kind of fell into my lap because it wasn't something that I dreamed about doing. It was something that God decided that this is what I was made for. It does feel more natural and right for me to be in this spot. I was doing insurance before, home casualty, commercial, auto insurance, and I love the customer service aspect, but I felt like I was missing something. I was desiring something more independent, to express my abilities and creativity. And real estate, you're able to do that in so many different aspects.
Okay. So in with doing that, and wanting to stay focused on the customer service aspect, what is it about, real estate that attracted you to that market? Because you could have been, it could have been retail or it could have been, like a customer service representative.
Yeah.
But what is it about real estate that stood out to you that said, okay, I want to go down this path to pursue, my dreams this way? What was it about real estate?
Well, I enjoy helping people. It's like a passion of mine. I am very nurturing, and I feel like I always wanted, I first time homeowner myself, I felt like I wanted to share that experience with somebody else and give them that opportunity that I didn't have, and guide them that way. So being nurturing is a more part of holding their hand through the process. And I like that the most.
Okay. Okay. And so would you so basically you're a hands-on type of person.
Fully,
Fully
fully,
hands-on?
fully. Yeah, to a fault.
Okay. So and it being like, do you think sometimes being hands-on, a hands-on type of person, can sometimes come off as an overachiever in real estate, or is it, oddly or being a very detail-oriented person?
More like detail oriented, because when you're dealing with real estate, not only are you dealing with the client themselves, but you're also dealing with the transaction as well. You want to make sure that all of that contract to close process is also done productively and efficiently. So, being that hands on is actually perfect for that.
Mhm. Okay. And so and also being, in that path, getting started, in real estate and and things like that, would you say that you had any fear embarking up on this new journey, or did you go into it full head on?
There was a lot of fear. So, to be quite honest, it took me a whole year to pass my real estate course exam because I just think out of the box all the time. And the course is very black and white. And so, because of my creativity, it took me so long to pass the course. Then it took me 5 times to pass a state test. And my then broker, I would go to him and I'd be like, why is this so frustrating to me? He goes, Christina, you are built to be in this business. And sometimes, when you kept going back after it and going back after it, it's showing your tenacity. It's showing that you're not going to give up and that you're going to do whatever it takes to accomplish what you sought after, your goal. So it did not come easy for me at all. It was very hard. And then the first year was hard. And the second year was harder. The third year came in pretty much easy. And now, boom, it just blew up. So it's great.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. So in entering into the real estate realm, what are the stipulations? What are the requirements? Like you were just talking about the test that you have to take. What are the requirements? Is it everything across the state? Each state the same, or is it different rules and regulations depending on the state that you live in?
It depends on the state you live in.
Hmm.
The stipulations and regulations and the laws are depending on the state. So I can go get my real estate license in Florida, but there's a different law there in Florida for real estate that you have to abide by as well. So you have to be very educated in that. And you have to continue that education because the law changes daily. Real estate is not real estate is not something to mess around with either. You have to be educated and every transaction is different. So you want to make sure that you have the right brokerage to stand behind you and the right education to stand behind you to deal with that transaction.
Okay. And then being involved in, so many different realms when it comes to, speak what we're speaking on tonight, creating generational wealth through real estate. Would you say it is best to be well versed in different states in order to create more generational wealth? Or would you say to start in one state, stick to that? Or what would be your plan of action or, your advice in that area?
Well, I definitely would like to say that, you have to pick a spot first. You have to know what you're doing. You have to get educated. You have to be surrounded by the individuals and resources that you need so that you feel comfortable doing what you're doing when you start wealth building. And then you can venture off to, let's say, a different state, Texas, California, or any other state that you decide. I would recommend as a friend, stand your ground, be educated first, use your resources, and then once you know that, then you'll be able to conquer the next state and, be able to know their laws and abide by their laws and wealth build there, you know? So definitely stay put into one area. And if you want to start in a different state, not in where you're at now, then I do that, but just be educated and use your resources wisely.
Hmm. Okay. And creating generational wealth, I know you spoke about, you're a mom and you're a wife. So when it comes to leaving a legacy and leaving, the what is the importance in leaving a legacy, someone that's when your kids get older and your grandchildren, well, my grandma, she was a top real estate agent in Georgia, and we have property over here and we have property over here. Is it, what is the importance of building that wealth within your family?
So for me, it's different than other people. For me, it's more about I wanted my children to know that there are so many possibilities in this world. You can wealth build by so many different things, but the easiest route sometimes is real estate. So what do I leave behind? Do I want to leave behind properties? Do I want to leave behind, land, or do I want to leave behind multi-family units? Because there are different aspects to the real estate industry where you can leave your legacy behind. Is it a building? Is it a commercial building? So for me and my family, it's more of I wanted properties, so it's about leaving behind some properties. So God forbid something happens to me, the children have properties. They can stay in it, they can rent them out, and be able to have that continuum of income flowing through for them as long as they're managing everything correctly.
Okay. And also, versus, doing commercial real estate, residential real estate, or land and things like that. Um, would you say it is important to have land as well, or would you say it's important to have a mixture of both when it comes to leaving that generational wealth or something that is tangible for your family? What would you say would be, good?
So right now, what if you were my client and you wanted to build that legacy for your family, we would look at what the market has been able to say in the past 5 to 10 years. Is it land growing, or is the commercial side growing? Land never depreciates. It doesn't depreciate. So, is that something that we'd be looking at, forward to? Is it going to take 10 years to build that equity there, or is the commercial building going to create that equity? So that would be something that we would have to sit down together. And what is it that you would like to do and where you want to be? And then let's start from there. So if you were in Atlanta right now, it's popping. Atlanta's popping right now. It's, got it going on. Those movie stars are moving right in. So,
Right.
I would suggest, maybe buying a condo there and then buying 2 condos and maybe buying 3 condos, and maybe you own the whole building by then, and by the time, by the next thing you know it, we're like another LA, where now that building is worth how much millions of dollars, versus right now it's only, maybe 1 million.
Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to, looking at, so just taking, that conversation that you were saying and basing on like buying a condo or looking at a building, when it comes to going down that path, what are the guidelines, or what are the steps that someone can take into looking into, how to buy a building, or would it be best to buy a building versus just, a condo? What type of financial stipulations or guidelines do you need to have in place in order to make that, to accomplish that goal?
Well, the first step would be to find a local realtor. That's the first thing, because any local realtor is going to have resources of lenders that's going to be able to assist you. The next step is speaking to a lender. Every lender and every lending criteria is different. So I'm going to leave that question up to a lender. I think it's best because every person's situation is different, and you may have to have a certain credit score. Given that COVID just happened, the lender has changed everything has changed. So, it's not what it used to be anymore. And it can continue to change that way because they may start regulating the market. So that would be my best suggestion is get with your local realtor and your local lender and start asking those questions. Can I afford $1 million multifamily home? Can I afford a $300,000 72-acre land? Is that in my budget? Or do I want to create an LLC and put it under the LLC and start running my business and putting properties under that LLC or corporation that you might have? That would be the first step.
Okay. So, and for you being in real estate, do you mostly, focus on multifamily, single family, rental properties, commercial properties? What is your main focus as a real estate agent?
Well, honestly, I do everything. I don't like to limit myself to one because real estate is so broad. And I want to be able to say when I leave that legacy, I want to be able to let them know that I was a little bit intelligent in the process or knowledgeable of what I was doing and why I left it behind. So
Right.
I love to do a little bit of everything, even investment and flipping homes. That's more of my passion. I love to create. I'm very creative. So I on the side, I love to flip. So it's fun.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let's talk about flipping, because of course you see, you see it on television, flip this house, you have those type of shows and things like that.
Yeah.
But But for someone that is starting out, small, or someone like yourself, that has the passion for flipping homes, and they love it. What do you say is the starting point for someone that is looking into doing that but doesn't know where to start?
That's great. They do a lot of classes locally, to learn how to invest. I was thinking about doing it myself, so maybe I can get that started. But the first thing would be to, what do you have in your pocket? Do you have $500 or do you have 1,000? Even with that $500, you can go to the county tax records and see if there's any tax liens on a property. And somebody may owe $500. And in Georgia, they have up to 1 year to pay those $500. If you pay the $500 first, you wait a whole year and they never pay it, you just bought a property for $500. That's
Wow.
step one. I mean, that's one easy step to do. And $500 is easier to come across than maybe sometimes 1,000. But just by that, you can use that, and you can start. There you can even after flipping or before flipping, you can probably just do it as a rental, and then you're creating wealth. You know what I mean? That's just wealth building by itself, and you've already paid yourself back because you only paid $500. You know
Mm.
what I mean? So it really is simple, and there's are simple steps, but I would love to help anybody who needed the help to do so. But there is like a big Atlanta investor network that you can get plugged into, and a lot of people are willing to help.
So let's, if you don't mind, I want you to dive into that just a little bit because, and I feel like that is a way also to create generational wealth as well. Flipping homes, if you want to do it, like you said, do a rental property
Yeah,
or, sell it, and, you have the ability to flip another home or, whatever the case may be.
yeah,
In starting down that journey, just say you go look at the tax liens. If you're able to pay it in a year, you just bought a house, for $500. So we're
yeah,
gonna use that figure, for now as a
yeah.
starting. Okay, so okay, just say you outright bought this house for $500, and you want to flip it, or you renovated, things like that. What would be the next step, as far as getting it renovated, contractors and things like that? How do you go down? What are the steps that you take in, order to know that you have the financial stability or the finances, or what course of action do you take in order to renovate this home to then flip it so that you can rent it or sell it? What are those
N-
steps?
Networking. You have to network. You have got to learn who is around you. There can be contractors that are willing to work for pennies on the dollar. You have to learn to network. There are lenders out there, like hard money lenders, they do this for a living. It comes at a higher interest rate, but compared to the $500 that you just purchased it from. So you need to weigh your options. There's private money lenders as well that you can use for the flipping side or for the rehab side on it. So you just got to learn to network and get to know people. And what do you do for a living? Oh my gosh, you have $100,000. Well, what are you doing with the 100,000 that's sitting in your bank? Well, if I can use that money and pay you back 10%, if I can borrow it from you while I do my rehab and I pay you 10% when the home is sold, boom, done. You just got your money. You really have got to learn how to network and feel confident in what you're doing. If you're ready to flip, feel confident about it. Feel that, put it out there in the atmosphere that this is what I want to do and it's going to come really easy for me. And if it doesn't, don't fail. I mean, if you fail, it's okay. Just get right back up and let's keep going and keep doing it. And it's going to come real natural to you. And it's going to be really easy, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
Speaking on that word failures, being in real estate, what keeps you grounded, to not say I quit or, I give up. I was trying to sell a house, but it didn't go through. What keeps you grounded in, staying the course and staying on the path that you're on?
God,
Mm.
my faith, honestly. Sometimes I do feel like I want to give up. Like sometimes I feel like, I get the short end of the stick, or, it comes harder to me. But I have to remember God is allowing me to go through this troubles. He's allowing me to go through the difficult times to be a testimony for somebody else, or to be able to be that experienced for somebody, being so young in the years of real estate, you know? So I look at it as a good challenge, even though it comes with tears and it comes with days of depression. But faith keeps me going. If it wasn't for God, I don't think I would be able to keep going because it's difficult. You're dealing with all kinds of aspects of an individual because people are people. And whether we like it or not, we all have differences of opinions all the time. And as educated as I may be, somebody may have had a different experience, and my education doesn't mean nothing to them.
Mm, that's good. That's good. And speaking about your testimony, I know before, as we call it backstage,
Yeah.
um, you spoke briefly about your testimony. And if you don't mind sharing, if you can tell us a little about, your testimony and your journey within the last 3 years of of being in real estate, the things that you've been through, the things that you've overcome and the things that you've conquered, and what, you just spoke about, holding on to your faith and God being your anchor to keep you grounded. What has God kept you grounded through over the last 3 years in real estate?
He's kept me from not quitting. He's kept me from not leaving my marriage. He's kept me from not, walking away from my household, my family. Life throws you challenges all the time. And I went through a hysterectomy about a year ago, or maybe a year and a half ago now. And I didn't realize that it was going to do this, but it put me through a mental state of depression. Like
Mhm.
it was the devil was really trying to get to me, and he would do anything possible to say something. But, through being networking and having the right people around me, I felt like it was a breath of fresh air to help pull me out slowly. And I want to be able to admit those things out loud because I want to be able to heal from it, learn from it, and continue to grow as a woman, as a sister, as a mother, as a wife, and as your realtor too. You know, this is the real me. This is what you're going to get when you do business with me. I have to be honest, and if I feel like I can't be that way with you, then maybe we can do business together.
Mhm.
Because and this is real life. I'm dealing with real life situations in general too. So without having the people surrounding me, I would have given up for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And
Yeah.
when it comes to building, wealth and building generational wealth, how important do you feel is maintaining or making sure you cultivate and grow your mental health? How important is that when it comes to building that generational wealth?
It's super important because you have to be of sound mind when you're making these big decisions. That's a big financial investment. Even that $500, that's a big financial investment for some individuals. So, I take the time and I joined a women's group with my church, and I take the time to be with them and they be with me when I need them. So that, even doing something that I love the most, like I love to run. I love to run. So sometimes I run to get rid of stress. So if any woman is out there, do something that you love. If that's reading, writing, coloring, I love to color. I color with my kids all the time. you know, I love video games. I love me some video games. Okay. Okay, let's get real. I love me some, what is it, Black Ops? You better
Wow.
believe
Are you
it.
serious?
I am so serious.
My son would love you.
My kids love joining me with that. And you just have to do what you love. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. If you like just to sit there and drink your coffee and talk to the birds, then you sit there, you drink your coffee. Now, when you pass by my house, I am that crazy lady talking to the animals, okay? But like, good morning, like Cinderella, okay? But that makes me happy. That makes
Right.
me happy, and that's mental health. That makes me happy. So you do what's best for you so that you can help build that legacy, you know.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That is beautiful and that is amazing. So many people they often think about, the crazy like the crazy things like that. Someone sitting down, enjoying a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
looking at the leaves fly by.
Yeah.
and they look at you like you're crazy, but for someone that is their sense of peace.
Mhm.
And if you cannot locate your sense of peace, it will drive you mentally insane.
Yes.
So like, just like Christina said, hold on to that thing that brings you peace, that brings you happiness, and it does not come from another person. That peace is on the inside. So
Right.
you have to find out what it is that you're passionate, what you love to do, what you like, and in that moment, hold on to it, even if it's for 30 seconds
That's it.
every day. Hold on to it. Let that be your peace moment. So, and talking about mental health and the importance on maintaining your mindset and things like that. What is your daily or your weekly regimen for maintaining like your personal development? Do you read books? Do you listen to podcasts? What's your regimen?
I love to listen to Stephen Ferdwick from Elevation Church. He is so real. Oh my God. He gives it to you real. And I got to listen to it real because life is real. I don't want you to get sugarcoat anything for me. Tell me what I need to do, why I need to do it, why I need to get out of this bed because it's so cold right now. Tell me. So I like to listen to podcasts. It motivates me. Listening to other people's journeys and it's their testimonies as well inspires me to get up every day. And reading the Bible just 5 minutes of the day, you can just read a few words out of there and that's good enough for me because faith, it'll reside with you all day, right? Like that song that never ends all the time. Like you need to calm down from Taylor Swift never leaves my head. It just never leaves. But it's like a repetitiveness, and we need that as individuals. We need that repetitiveness. That's the same thing with wealth building. You got to keep that schedule. You got to keep it going every day. You got to keep that momentum going. So if sitting out there listening to a cup of coffee, listening to Stephen Furwick in the morning, if that's what motivates you to get up and be able to do something, you have to do it because then your wealth building will be for nothing. It'll be for
Mm,
nothing.
wow. And when it comes to wealth building, and your daily journey and your peace and your personal development, what is, what are something that you're not, like what are your non-negotiables? What are you not willing to deal with, when it comes to your world and building your wealth and leaving your legacy? What is something that you just, I'm not doing that, we're not going to do it? What is something that you have in your mind?
I'm never giving up tacos. Let's be real. Well,
That's real.
it's true. I just can't give up tacos. I mean, that's something that you're gonna put it on my grave or something. Whatever, I'm getting good tacos. I don't want to give up. I don't want to be able to, I don't want to give up that faith and knowing that God has given me that vision. Sometimes the visions are wrong, but deep down inside what is true. And I don't want to give that up. That's something that I'm not going to negotiate. Like, I know that that property is going to be worth something. I know it. It may not be today, but it may be tomorrow. But if you know that it's right, just do it in the moment.
And on your journey, with creating, because I can say you're already on your journey, with creating generational wealth and building through real estate. If you would have been in a position to be able to get anything that you set your mind to, not have any failures, not have any setbacks or any upsets, would you do it, or would you still do it the exact same way that it happened?
Same way. Same way. I'm not going to change that. That's made me to be who I am today. That's made me to be able to be on this show. That people can see, the true grit of Christina and the journey she's been through to give her that foundation to be of sound mind for another individual. I
Mm,
wouldn't change it. Nothing
yeah.
comes easy in this world. And when it does, you better run. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So I mean, I honestly agree, with that because, so many people they live and they go through their lives and they say, I regret not doing this or I regret this happened or, they apologize for their failures. But I think, when it comes to, and we're going to stick on the topic of, building generational wealth, when it comes to the generational wealth, it's the things that you go through that make your generations after you appreciate the things that you had to go through in order to build the name that you have, in order to build that legacy, especially when they hear or you're sitting on the steps and you're rocking chair, you 90 years old talking to your great grandkids,
Yes.
grandma Christina, she had to go through this. I suffered through this in 2020. We were in a pandemic, we
Yeah.
were on a global lockdown, but even in the global lockdown I still continue to stay on the path that I was set to be on in order to build what we have today. So because I didn't give up, we're able to live this life. We're able to have this property. We're able to have our name, known across the state of Georgia or known across the US, with being in the real estate market. So how important is your name? I know that that is such a vague question, but to you, how important is your name?
My name is not important. What's important is that you know who I am and what the journey that I've been through and the trust that we can build together. My name can change tomorrow. It
Mm,
can be a different name tomorrow. But who I am is not going to, yeah, it will change every day because we're growing and learning. But my heart, will always be the same. It'll be as humble as it's supposed to be. So I don't think it's the name for me. I think it's knowing that, that the kids knew that mom worked as hard as she did for the reasons that she did, and knowing that the tenacity, and I show my true colors to my kids. I cry with my kids. I show them that life happens and learn from my mistakes, learn from them, make your own but learn from mine, you know and it's not my name, it's just who you are.
yeah. And when you're building your wealth, how important would you say it is to have your children involved with what you do? A lot, they have like just like, they started implementing take your kid to work day, things like that. How important is it for you to have your children to be hands-on or at least some form of knowledge on what you're doing to build that generational wealth?
It's 100% important to me, if not 150%, because we are teaching the next generation of this world who are going to be our leaders one day, and I have to teach them the truth of what it really means. And they learn so much more than we do at a faster pace. I can be learning from them at the same time that they're learning from me.
Mm-hmm.
So what better yet than to do it together? So the kids are with me all the time. I bring them to the flips. They pick a paintbrush. They do yard work with me. They're really in there. They get involved. I'm going to go look at this property. They'll give me their opinions. And, that matters to me because they see things differently. We had an imagination when we were their age, right? And it brought the world to be a different perspective than an adult. So I'm inspired by their imaginations too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful because a lot of people as parents they're always so on the go and they're building the wealth, they're building the legacy, but they don't have the legacy holders involved. They just pass it down generation after generation after generation. But
Mhm.
then it goes back to what you just said. It's not about, because grandma, who's grandma Christina, but
Mhm.
it's about the work that Grandma Christina put in and what she taught us,
That's it.
to be passed down from her children to me and to your children, their children, and so on and so forth.
That's
It's
it.
about the teachings, it's about the mindset, it's about, not instilling the mindset of fear and things like that and teaching them to conquer what their heart is set out to do. So that is very powerful and showing the importance of how to build that generational wealth and keeping them hands on as well. And in building the legacy, how would you like to be remembered, as Christina? How would you like to be remembered?
Tacos. That she loves tacos. Hello. If I sell your house tomorrow, I want tacos as a gift. Okay. I don't. I don't know how to answer that question. I really don't. And that's the honest truth. It's just, I don't know. I'm going to have to ponder on that one for a little bit because, like I was saying before, a name is a name and your job is a job and what you do is what you do. So, what I would like to be remembered for is that I cared enough to take the extra step, to go above and beyond and personalize something for you. You know, like that wealth building. If we're going to work together and I'm going to be your realtor and you want me to help you invest in real estate, I want to be able to hold your hand. I want to be able to guide you the right way. And if I don't know the right way, I'm going to find it. But, you know, the benefit of the, you've given me that benefit of the doubt that I'm still going to work hard for you. So I just want to leave behind that, you know, she was good. She was good enough.
Yeah. And in wealth building, going back into the real estate realm and speaking about that, um, what are certain things or what are certain steps that you go through as far as seeking the best avenue for your client, and what's best for them when it comes to real estate and when it comes to investing? What are some things that you look at in that, for them?
I love to network, right? And the first step is getting to know people. You got to have enough resources to be able to guide your client in the right direction. So when I'm networking, I'm finding those lenders for you, right? I'm finding those painters, those contractors, those people, oh, for the IRAs, you know, insurance people, things to that financial stability. Because when you're investing, it's money. At the end of the day, it's money, right? So, you know, being able to provide that, all those resources to my clients, I think that's very important that they have, you know, somewhere to go.
Right, right. And so what are your normal, are you like a 7 day a week person, or are you like, okay, I'm on Monday through Friday, I'm off on the weekends, that's it. 5 o'clock Friday, I'm off.
I work Monday through Saturday, sometimes on Sundays, and it's 24 hours. It just, I don't know the limit to stop. I incorporate so much family time in that. And everybody, you know, I hear it from my dad. You need to make sure that, you know, you take time for the kids. Well, they're with me and
Hmm.
we stop and we have dinner together. That's still family time, you know?
Right.
So I work all the time.
Yeah. And so do you think in building, wealth, do you think um that is an important aspect to have, to stay focused on, doing the work, but also incorporating that family time? Do you think that is important? And why is that?
Extremely important. Extremely. We have game night once a month. We have movie night every Friday night. And if you're not investing in yourself, with your children, with your family, with your spouse, then you're not wealth building at all.
Mm,
Okay? You know, let's be honest. You really are not. You have got to take that 5 to 10 minutes a day. That's it. That's all the kids are asking for. You need that love and attention to sit outside with a cup of coffee. They need the exact same attention from you because you're loving and nurturing with them, you
mhm,
know? So it
right.
is extremely important to take that time out. Just put it down on the schedule. And if you don't make it, reschedule it, but don't continue to reschedule it. Just get it done. You know,
Yeah.
learn how to get it done and make that a priority.
And also, for that person that is looking to get into real estate, that is ready to do the work, and ready to take the tests that are required, and things like that, what would be some advice that you would give that person, starting that journey and wanting to be a real estate agent?
Well, first off, you got to clear your mindset. What you thought you knew, you don't know, right? Let's clear it off. The book is going to be black and white, and it's whatever that book says is how you're going to get through your course and pass your test. Okay? After the fact, you're going to get plenty of training, you're going to meet a great mentor, and they're going to help you know exactly what you need to do your job. But the book doesn't teach you how to do your job. The book only teaches you how to pass that test. So just clear your mind and focus on that book and that teaching that they give you, and that's it. And that was my fault because I was always thinking outside of the box, and what if this and what if that, and it didn't help me. I didn't take that moment to clear my mind and say, wait a minute, they're only telling me this, so then it should only be this or this.
And is it by it being in the book, as you say, it's in black and white, and
Mhm.
that is what it is real estate a thing, even though that test is, by the book, black and white, is the real estate realm as a whole by black and white, or is it a think outside of the box kind of world?
With contracts, it should be black and white. That's
Mhm.
what the law says. That's what we need to abide by. Now, for investment, there's all kinds of different ways in the real estate realm what you can invest your money in and how you can do it. You
Mhm.
know, same thing with the lending aspect. You can own a primary residence, but I think that there's a certain mile range where you can also do another FHA loan. So there's different avenues to do that. But by law, there is a black and white for law with real estate law. There's only certain things you can and cannot do and cannot change that.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the investment, you also stated, I know that you said that that is based on, what is best for that person, but what are some things in real estate that you can invest your money in?
Oh man, like the flipping, period. Like, buy and holds means that you buy it, like that $500 property, and in 5 years that it's going to build so much equity that you can resell it then without even doing anything to it. That's another way to do your investment. Or you can buy your primary residence and then buy another property where you're renting it out. You know, there's so many different avenues that you can do that. Or even Airbnb properties. It's Florida's a great place to do Airbnbs.
Right. So, okay. So, speaking on Airbnb, because that was one of my questions, how does a person get? Is it just a simple way to do Airbnb, or is it like a lengthy process for Airbnb?
It's same process. You buy the property, you service out how you want to rent that property out, who's the property manager, and Airbnb is kind of like, that services, and then you just go through them and you deal with them. You just have to be able to know financially, can you afford it? Because Airbnb does have their fees that you have to pay them for their services as well. But it's definitely an avenue that you'll have to just be more of a financial, can I afford this? Can I not afford it? Is it worth my investment? Is it not? And location, is this the right location to do it? You know, you're not going to just go say, hey, Douglasville, I'm going to do an Airbnb here. Well, what does Douglasville have to offer that Airbnb will benefit that? You have
Right.
to look at that aspect. We have Six Flags nearby. Well, maybe. We're close to the airport. Well, maybe. So location, location, location.
That is, and we've heard that for so long. Location, location, location.
It's true.
That yeah, that it just as you and you don't understand, what that means. When you're a kid, when you hear location, it's like okay, all right, whatever. But when you become an adult and you come into the world, of investing and owning properties and things
Mm-hmm.
like that, you can literally lose money, by investing in a
Yes.
potentially bad area. So what is and that also goes into when someone does make a bad investment or they don't get a return of their investment on a property, what normally happens in that process? Is it best to sell, or is it best to flip it as quick as you can? What would be your recommendation for that?
It's based on the situation, based on the location. I've had a client that they flipped the property, they bought it, they flipped it, took forever to flip. They had challenges. We tried to sell it. It was a great seller's market, but nobody wanted to buy the house. And then when they did, they always wanted something, more and more and more. And it just didn't work out. So they had to weigh their options. Do we still try to sell it during the pandemic? Do we rent it out? Do we just not do anything with it and bear the extra expenses? And in their case, they had to rent it out, and it actually benefited them to rent it out. And they're actually, financially fine doing it that way. But, when you're purchasing the property, you have to also remember that's a risk. So if the loan is a hard money lender, they give you a certain amount of time to pay that money back. You have to keep those things in mind, and you have to have a plan B and a C in real estate when you're investing. You have to be.
When it comes to buying a property, owning that property, flipping it and selling versus buying, owning, flipping and renting, I know that, with you being, you're renting it, what would be the difference between renting and selling? Does that make you liable for that property? Or, what would be the difference between those two and the benefits between renting and selling?
That's completely up how you look at it,
Hmm.
because people make quick money with flipping. You can make the same kind of money with renting. Do you want to be a landlord, or do you not want to be a landlord? There's all kinds of different ways to look at it. I don't like to be a landlord. I'm picky. I'm picky about my stuff, right? I don't want to walk in and you got my house painted like blue. you know, I just, or you got all these plants everywhere that bring bugs, and that's a problem. It's just how you feel is best in that situation. We
Okay.
have to look at it in general.
Okay, we have a question here. So Miss Shaylee, she asks, how do you find your GCs? She has flipped two houses and have fired both of them before we even got halfway through the project. So how do you find your GCs?
Oh man, you got to network. You have got to network. And you know what? Not only do you have to network, I want to see your product, not by pictures. You're working, you're actively working. Well, great. Can I go visit that address? What's the address? I'll meet you there, whatever time works best for you guys. You have got to see their work. Like, I
Mhm.
have a GC right now. Yeah, he's working, but it's at a slow pace. It's like, really? You know, but I have another guy that's ready for backup. You just got to learn how to network so you have those resources. And networking is just going to an event, or even inviting a girlfriend out to dinner, and she may know somebody who knows somebody. That's networking. That's
Right.
networking. You have fun with networking. Um yeah, I found my GCs that way. And it was through my kitchen guy, actually.
And for, the ones that are watching that don't know what a GC is, tell them what a GC is.
It's a general contractor, and the general contractor has painters, has floor people, has HVAC, has roofers, and things to that nature. So they do the majority of the work. They come at a higher cost because you're not having to sub it out, and it's cheaper to sub it out, but they carry most of the headache for you, by hiring these individuals to get the work done.
Okay. Okay. So if you're open, we're gonna do a quick Q&A. If anyone
Yeah.
else has any more questions, make sure you put them in the comments. As we're waiting on, if anyone has any questions, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in with us here. We are live here on YouTube. We're also live in the SheEO district, and we're live on Facebook as well. We have been talking to Miss Christina Fernandez. She is a serial real estate agent here in the great state of Georgia. She has been giving some awesome information, some awesome sharing her experience, sharing her journey, and I am just pleased and excited about the things that I've been hearing, getting to know her a little more, a little better. We got to know each other a little bit backstage.
Yes.
That was a fun conversation. She is a ball of life. Just thank you all so much for tuning in. You're listening to Jasmine D Milhouse. I am a senior leader here in the SheEO district, and I am also the director of the SheEO Marketplace. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. We're getting your questions answered now. If you don't have any questions, while we're waiting on that, I want to know, how can we find you on social media? Do you have a website, or what is your information?
So we're rebuilding the website, so that's yet to come. But you can definitely reach me on my Facebook. I'm always there, or on my Instagram. It's Christina Fernandez GA. Or you can always reach me by my cell phone, and that's 407-860-5930. If you may have questions after you view our live here, how to become a homeowner, and even by the steps of becoming a homeowner, that's wealth building. Just buying a house alone is wealth building. So if you have any questions as far as what are your first steps, or I want to sell my house to get some money, I'm here for that too.
Okay, and may I have you repeat your phone number one more time for me?
Yes, it's 407-860-5930.
Okay, fine. All right. So, Let's see here. All right. So this Miss Christina Fernandez, you can follow her on Facebook here at Christina Fernandez Georgia, also on Instagram as well. And also if you want to contact her directly, her telephone number is 407-860-5930. We're going to, make sure we leave her information up here. We have one more question. And that question is, what do you think about mobile home investing?
Location. That's all I'm going to say is location.
Mm,
Location. Georgia may not be, I don't hear a lot about it. I don't tap into that myself directly. But people do it, and it's just, I think it's location. Remember, when you're investing, like before, you have to look at the entire plan, right? Where am I going to make the most money, or where is it going to make more sense for me to invest in? And if that's, in Douglasville, then where am I going to be able to resell and make that money back? That market has to speak to you, and days on market matters. The value matters. You have to think about things like that. So mobile home investing is nothing more any different than, you know, regular real estate. It's all real estate. It's all the same. Location, location.
wow. Location, location, location.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. I'm humbled by the experience. I love networking. I am camera shy, to be quite honest, but this has been great for me.
Can y'all tell she was camera shy? No.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoy what I do. I love what I do, and I appreciate the opportunity to share that.
Oh, you are absolutely welcome. And we thank you so much for allowing us to interview you on tonight and gracing us with your presence. Thank you so much for your expertise, for your knowledge, and sharing your journey and, everything that you've been through, and just a little bit of information on how we can continue to create wealth through real estate. We thank you so much for just your time, because time is the most valuable asset that you have, that we cannot pay for, and I cannot replace it. So I thank you for it. I appreciate you for being here with me and spending time with me here tonight.
Absolutely.
Um, and as we sign off here in the SheEO district, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in with us here for our Wealth Week interview on this Tuesday night. I am yours truly, Jasmine D Milhouse, the self-love transformation coach, a senior leader here in the SheEO district, and also the director of the SheEO Marketplace. You all enjoy the rest of your Tuesday
Yes.
night. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you each later on in the week. Enjoy the rest of your night. Good night, everybody.